Welcome to China in Focus. I'm Don Ma in for Tiffany Meyer today. Our top story. The U.S. is making it easier for Chinese migrants to cross illegally. An investigative reporter tells us how, citing an internal email from Border Patrol.
And this email directed agents to more or less drastically reduce the number of questions that they would be asking Chinese illegal immigrants.
A lawsuit is shining a light on contact between Dr. Anthony Fauci and Chinese scientists from the Wuhan Institute of Virology before the COVID-19 pandemic erupted. China announcing sanctions for several American defense companies in response to U.S. arms sales to Taiwan. More on the move's significance. And Beijing says it's found a spy for the UK. The news comes in the wake of China's new espionage law. A tweak in U.S. border policy last year, now coming to light. The screening process for illegal Chinese immigrants coming through the southern border was made easier last April. That's according to an internal email obtained by the Daily Caller. Here's what Philip Lenczycki, the investigative reporter that broke the story, had to say.
So back in April 2023, an email was apparently sent from Customs and Border Protection to approximately 500 agents. And this email directed agents to more or less drastically reduce the number of questions that they would be asking Chinese illegal immigrants.
Authorities cut the questions down from 40 to 5. The remaining questions include where they were born and whether they are a member of the Chinese Communist Party. The change would also remove another requirement.
To perform something called phone downloads, which is when they confiscate a illegal immigrant's phone and plug it into a machine in order to cross-reference its data against a database containing known terrorist organizations and other malign entities.
The change follows a surge in illegal Chinese crossings at the border. Experts told the New York Post while the change could speed up the screening process, bad actors could slip through the cracks. Before the change, Border Patrol agents saw over 3,500 illegal Chinese crossers per month. After the email was sent out, that number saw a 50% spike over the following 8 months. Last year saw a massive surge in the number of illegal Chinese immigrants coming through the border, totaling 800%. Over 18,000 Chinese people illegally crossed into the U.S. through the southern border in 2023, compared to a little over 2,000 last year and around 400 in 2021. Lawmakers said over 90% of 2023 illegal border crossers are single adults. 5 U.S. senators penned a letter to the head of Homeland Security last year, urging him to take immediate action. They described the situation as a rising threat. NTD reached out to Customs and Border Protection for comment, but did not hear back before airtime. Newly released emails are shedding more light on the relationship between Dr. Anthony Fauci and the Wuhan Institute of Virology in China. The emails show that scientists working at the Wuhan lab visited Fauci's agency at the National Institutes of Health, or NIH, in 2017. It happened just a few months before the NIH lifted a pause on high-risk virology research. The emails were obtained by the nonprofit research group U.S. Right to Know through a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit against the NIH. The emails showed that Shi Zhengli, a senior scientist at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, visited the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases in June 2017. Shi researches SARS-like coronaviruses of bat origin and directs the Center for Emerging Infectious Diseases at the Wuhan lab. Fauci is appearing before Congress Monday and Tuesday to answer questions. Topics will include his changing position on masks, how the agency he headed funded risky research in China, and how he downplayed post-infection immunity. It's the first time he'll answer questions under oath since November 2022. China is laying sanctions on 5 U.S. defense companies in response to arms sales to Taiwan. China's foreign ministry said over the weekend that the Chinese regime will sanction 5 U.S. military manufacturers in response to their latest round of arms sales to Taiwan. The U.S. approved the sale of $300 million worth of equipment to Taiwan last month. That's to help maintain the island's tactical information systems. U.S. arms sales to Taiwan are a frequent source of tension between Washington and the Chinese Communist Party. China views democratically governed Taiwan as its territory, a claim that Taiwan's government rejects. The sanctions come ahead of Taiwan's presidential and parliamentary elections this weekend. Another blow for China's most indebted property developer, Evergrande. Police detained a top executive of its electric vehicle arm. Authorities did not elaborate the crimes.
Shares of the developer's EV arm tanked over 20% Monday. Evergrande's chairman has been under criminal investigation since last September. This company's fate has many worry about China's property debt crisis and its overall economy. Evergrande was once China's top-selling developer, but is now the world's most indebted property company. It has more than $300 billion in liabilities. It's in the middle of selling off assets to restructure its debt. It filed for bankruptcy protection in a U.S. court last year. Real estate accounts for about a quarter of China's GDP, but it's been weakened by plunging home sales and defaulting Chinese developers. The crisis has spilled over into the financial sector, with a major Chinese wealth manager applying for bankruptcy last week.
In the wake of Beijing's ongoing financial sector clampdown, the Chinese Communist Party expelled an influential tycoon from the body 2 days ago. The pink slip went to the ex-chairman and the party chief of Evergrande Group, which is China's state-owned financial giant. Has Beijing discovered a spy in its ranks? The Chinese regime saying Monday that a foreign consultant is spying for the UK. The person surnamed Huang is accused of working with Britain's top intelligence service, MI6. The agency withheld Huang's full personal details and did not identify his employer. The news comes alongside China's ongoing clampdown on foreign consulting companies. China revised its anti-espionage law last year. The act gives Chinese authorities greater power to raid foreign businesses or make arrests without having to go through the legal process. In June, the U.S. warned its citizens to reconsider traveling to China due to the risk of wrongful detentions. Apple hitting a roadblock in China, the tech giant's third largest market. iPhone sales there dropped 30% in the first week of the year. That's despite Apple slashing the price of its latest models. Let's zoom in.
Analysts noted that sales dropped mainly because of growing competition from domestic brands such as Huawei. Huawei is Beijing's national champion. It launched a new phone series last year after getting hit hard by Washington's chip sanctions. Over 20% of Apple's revenue comes from China, though the tech giant has been trying to diversify its supply chains. iPhone also has been using fewer components made in China. For iPhone 12, Chinese-made components accounted for over 4%. Fast forward to iPhone 15, that number saw a 40% drop. One of Apple's major suppliers, Foxconn, kicked off production in India last year. Foxconn said it would pour $1.5 billion into India to meet its operational needs. An Indian minister said Apple could double or triple investments in India over the next few years. Meanwhile, analysts predict Apple's shipment volumes in China will continue to decline, while Huawei would gain more market share.
A Ukrainian prosecutor says Russia attacked Ukraine with missiles provided by North Korea, and that the evidence lies in the fragments of those warheads. The missile examined was used in a Russia attack last Tuesday.
Most likely, this missile was either supplied by North Korea or was produced only recently using blueprints and technologies supplied by Russia to third countries or to North Korea.
It's the first time Ukraine has accused North Korea of supplying weapons to Russia since Moscow launched its invasion. North Korea has been banned from trading weapons with other countries since 2006 under a United Nations embargo. North Korea is China's only official ally. A treaty requires China to provide North Korea with military assistance in times of war. Beijing has been aiding Pyongyang with military assistance and financial support. U.S. chip giant NVIDIA will soon roll out groundbreaking AI chips for China. The company looking to kick off mass production in the second quarter of 2024. Here's the inside scoop on how the giant is navigating U.S. export rules. And next, we would like to take a moment to share some of your thoughts on our show last time. One viewer commented on our report about Tesla recalling over 1.5 million Model S, 3, X, and Y electric vehicles in China to fix automatic steering and door latch issues. Tesla cars receive software updates on a regular basis, including major over-the-air updates about once a month, and other smaller updates more frequently. The recent recall will get the same kind of over-the-air fix, meaning most owners of the recalled vehicles won't have to get their cars serviced. Don't forget to tell us what you think of today's show. Thanks for watching. And that's all for today's China in Focus on YouTube. We're now sharing a shortened version of our program here after being demonetized for more than 2 years. If you would like to support us, consider donating. Find us at donorbox.org/China-in-focus. Or subscribe to our partner platform, Epoch TV, where you can watch our full episodes. Here's what to look out for in our second half. A surge of Chinese balloons floating through Taiwanese skies. The island's ministry saying sightings have jumped in recent days as Taiwan prepares to choose a new president. And once bustling street in China's technology hub Shenzhen is now packed with homeless people. What's forcing them to sleep in the streets? And what does this say about the nation's economy? More on that after the break here on China in Focus. Thanks for watching China in Focus. I'm Don Ma. See you soon.